Welcome to another episode of On the Rhodes, and I'm Donovan. How you guys doing? Had a pretty busy weekend this weekend. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Had some friends come in from all over the nation. It ended up being 5 of us, but it was a good time. On last week's episode, I did a double episode. I recapped with Britt being on the show. I went out and I did a 6-minute clip remote of the supermoon, which was pretty cool. Drove out to Red Rock Canyon. There was quite a few people out there. It was called the harvest moon. Basically, with the harvest moon, the moon is the closest that it gets to the earth, and it only happens once in a while. The thing about the harvest moon is the farmers would go out and harvest crops because the moon was so close. It would give them an extra bit of light so they could go ahead and harvest crops. Went out there, did a little bit of remote, watched the sun go down. There was a cotton candy sunset, and then right over the mountains and came out. So go check out that clip. Go check out that remote episode. You'll enjoy it. I added a little bit of music to it, and so it went really well. Shutdown update. As you know, we were talking about the government is shut down, and it could affect some national parks. When I went to Red Rock Canyon, they still have a reservation system. I made my reservation. I drove out. There was a little line, and they were having a Harvest Moon event at the visitor center. They had some guys out there, traffic vests, asking questions. Are you driving the loop or are you going to the event? So I said, I'm, driving the loop. Go ahead. I get to the booth. Usually they have you show your reservation. I do my reservation on recreation.gov because I have the America Beautiful Pass. It only costs $2. I go there. And the lady's at the booth, and she said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go to the loop. She's like, go ahead. I said, you don't even see my ID, my reservation? Nah, I just got part of the government shutdown thing. I go there, no problem. Everything is still maintained. I did see an article out in Lake Mead. If you go to the Lake Mead recreation area, the booths are closed. You can just drive in. From what I hear, they are maintaining the bathrooms, but they have vault bathrooms, so you can't neglect those. I saw a news report. The bathrooms are pretty clean. Nothing to really worry about as far as the bathrooms. Some of the national parks and national recreation areas, you will find the booths empty. You will see minimum staff. If you go on DOI.gov, I just went on there and read the National Park Service contingency plan. With this government shutdown going on, they're going to be working with minimal staff. Some of the things that you're looking to be open probably won't be open, depending on how big the national park or how small. I don't know if the visitor centers are affected yet. Some of the national parks you're going to go to, you're just going to drive through because they don't have the staff to collect money. And then they have a plan where they're trying to keep track of expenses. So when the government does open up, they'll be able to flawlessly go back to normal. Slowly but surely, as long as this shutdown goes on, it will affect your travel. Also, I went on the National Park Service app, and they also said that some of the information is not going to be up to date because it's not being maintained, as far as giving you updates of what trails are open, what trails are closed, if weather conditions are prohibiting you from getting to certain destinations. So you're just going to have to either call, do your due diligence before you go to whatever destination you're going to. It's going to cause a headache for a little bit because a lot of people aren't getting paid, and some of the people just don't want to go to work. If you're not getting paid, I wouldn't want to go to work. So the trickle effect, depending on how long this thing lasts, will definitely trickle down to the national parks. Also at Lake Mead, they said the trash was being emptied. The only problem that they said that they're having, usually when you go and you stay at a national park or you stay at a national preserve or recreation area and you purchase camping tickets, you purchase them on recreation.gov, and then you have a camp host, and the camp host or the park rangers, whoever is in charge of it, will go and they'll put a tag on your camp spot. So when you get there, your camp spot's marked, your last name, and you go and set up camp. At Lake Mead, they said there was no way of telling if people had paid or they just pulled up. So it might create some disputes. So keep an eye on that when you're going to your camp spot. Make sure that no one's taking over your camp spot. Some people, if they go on an honor system, so to speak, they're not paying the fee. They're just pulling up and they're camping. So that could make for a cramped situation, or it could make for a situation where somebody's in your spot. So definitely keep an eye on that. And happy camping. I mean, good luck. I know a lot of you are still out there. So just be patient. If somebody's in your spot, just be nice enough to talk to them. Let them know that they're in your spot and they have to move. No compromise. Make them move. Also, my friends came in from New Jersey. They came from a couple of different states, but two of them were from New Jersey, from where I'm from. Man, did we have an amazing weekend. Every year, for the past 3 years, we've been doing a trip. I missed last year's trip because I was all the way up in South Dakota. And it was a 20-hour drive from South Dakota to Dallas because they were in Texas. So I couldn't make the trip. And I was so upset that I couldn't be there. They did send me a lot of pictures. I did get to see what they were doing. They had a really good time. But this year, they're talking to me on the phone. They said, yo, we're coming to Vegas because I live in Vegas. And I said, oh, we're going to a football game because we went to Dallas football game 2 years in a row. And I said, well, when are we going to football game? We're not going to football game. We're coming for you. We're coming to see you. Come have a good time. I got really excited about that. And then I went to New Jersey 2 times in the span of a month. I went for the two birthday parties. This last time when I went in September, I met up with 2 of the fellas and we were talking about the trip. Man, we got so much ground covered, and we were in a group chat. They were able to text me and let me know exactly what they wanted to get into and what kind of fun they wanted to have. They were staying at the Wyndham. So the Wyndham is on Harmon Ave in Las Vegas, right across from the F1 grandstands. I had to go get them from the airport. We just had fun from start to finish. Atomic Golf is putting on this special. I believe it's Monday and Thursday. It's $59. Saturday and Sunday is $69. And it revolves around football. What you get is all you can eat, all you can drink. You get lanes for up to 20 people. There were 5 of us, so all we needed was 1 lane. But they had hot dogs, chicken fingers, sliders, macaroni and cheese and pizza for you to eat. And then you could get beer and mixed drinks, and depending on, you could upgrade. But my friends were drinking Kettle One. The guys that were drinking, they were drinking Kettle One and cranberry. But we had 3 hours. They put a timer up there, and you could hit balls and drink and watch college football. Awesome time. If you live in Las Vegas or you're coming to Las Vegas, take advantage of it. There's another golfing place that people go to. I think they have a similar thing, but they're catering to the locals now because there was a lot of pushback. You had to pay resort fees. Now you have to pay for parking. Now some of the casinos are going back to free parking temporarily, waiving resort fees in some cases, and a lot of drink and food specials. So we went to Atomic Golf, did that for 3 hours. Then we decided to go to my old job. I don't know if you guys know, I work for Pawn Stars, the TV show. I work security for them guys. Every now and then I go back and say hello. My intention is to go back to work, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and continue to work security for those guys. They rolled out the red carpet for my friends. One of the guys that actually run the shop, Me and him are really good friends. So I bring my friends in and he's just showing them everything, letting them try on Super Bowl rings and all that good stuff. He said, listen, want me to take them in the back? I was like, yeah, that would be so awesome. We took the guys back there and gave them the VIP tour. They have meet and greets now. Rick will do meet and greets, Chum's there. You can actually go back behind the scenes and they will show you some of the behind the scenes stuff. And then Rick and Chum will take pictures with you. We just missed Rick and Chum. They had just left, but we took them back there. They had a great time. And then from there, we went across the street to Rick's Rolling Smoke. Shout out to Rolling Smoke. Like I said, if you look at some of my videos, you'll see I have a Rolling Smoke hat on. Awesome barbecue if you're in Las Vegas. So we went there, had a couple of drinks. I was trying to get there before my friend Alexis was bartending, but we didn't get there in time. But John was there, but Alexis was amazing. The guys, I talk so much about Alexis and her husband, but they were so glad to meet Alexis. And unfortunately, Chuck wasn't there, but thanks for rolling out the red carpet, Rolling Smoke. We also went to Cleaver later on that night to have dinner. Cleaver was amazing. It's a sister steakhouse of Herbs and Rye. Because they did ask to go to a steakhouse last minute, we couldn't go to any of the steakhouses that they were looking at because there's a month out for reservations, but we were able to get in Cleaver. Had a great time. Took them to Fremont Street. We did some of the Vegas tourist stuff. Did go out on the Strip. Met some amazing people along the way. Man, I know I said tourism is down, but my goodness, you couldn't tell. Fremont Street was packed as usual. And we went on the Strip on Sunday. We did Sunday Fun Day, went and watched some NFL football, went to a couple of places out there, and it was just people everywhere. So we're still doing good out here. And if you've never been to Las Vegas, come out here and check us out. I mean, damn, it's great. Snow on Mount Charleston. Ski season looks like it's going to start early. There is snow. I saw on the news. We had some rain come into the area. We also had what I would consider a cold front, 70, 80 degrees in the day. And then at night, I think we went below 50 for the first time since April or something like that. There's snow on the mountain. At night, it's in the 30s up there. If it rains, it's going to be snow. You know, if you're into that type thing, it's only 45 minutes to an hour from downtown Las Vegas. You could drive up to the mountain and you can go skiing, snowboarding. They got restaurants up there if you've never been up there. I didn't start going to Mount Charleston until right before I did my nationwide trip. I've lived out here for almost 7 years, and it took me that long. And I've been coming out here since 1999. It took me that long to decide to go check out Mount Charleston. If you want to beat the heat, you're looking at 15, sometimes 20 degrees cooler up in elevation. You can go up there and escape the heat. If you love the snow, you can go up there right now and check out the snow. So F1, my friends, there was one of them who really hadn't been to Vegas. It was his first time. I took him out on the Strip, took him during the day. We also went out during the night, but all the lighting and the grandstands are up for F1. Every year, F1 is getting better and better with putting it up and taking it down, but it causes headaches for traffic. Luckily, we had an Uber driver. Uber took us out on the Strip on Saturday night. Man, oh my goodness. The traffic was unbelievable. We were stuck on the Strip for a good 10 minutes, and we were only going about a block. Traffic is disrupted because of the race. It's coming up fast. They're almost done setting everything up. It's going to be a good time. The prices have went down as far as tickets and packages. I think they've gotten their F1 feet under them. The first year was a nightmare. We wanted them to leave as locals. We were like, get out of here. Don't come back. But now, as they've gotten better and figured out how they do things, it's not too bad. You know, the race starts late at night, about 11 o'clock. I think between 9 and 10, they do preliminaries and qualifiers and all that good stuff. And then at 11 o'clock, the races actually start. So if you're in that area, you can hear them things going, and multi-million-dollar F1 cars in Vegas down the strip. That's got to be interesting, But the year one, what they were doing, they were actually, for a price you could pay, and earlier before they started doing everything as far as qualifiers and all that good stuff, you could pay a fee to jump in a Porsche. They would drive you around the track. I don't know if they're still doing that. I haven't been out there walking around F1. The first year, but the first year they did F1, they had some spots where you could stand and maybe catch a car going by. They become so good with hiding the race when you go out on the strip. They put all these shades up, and they put film over the walkways, and they have Vegas Metro pushing you along if you're trying to stand over the walkways where the track is. But it's hard to find a place to take pictures of the cars. But if you're on the monorail and they're doing qualifiers, you can catch a glimpse of the cars over there by the Sphere. But it is hard to view the race without paying to get in. Good luck to F1 for this year. Hopefully they'll do their thing. And they rip everything down pretty fast. Over by the Bellagio, they have this giant grandstand. These people have to be paying like $10,000 or more for this package. You're in the grandstand and you can, drink and eat. The Bellagio happened to drop a boat. They're calling it a yacht, but it's an expensive boat, something you see in Monaco. I don't know if you can get rides on where the actual Bellagio fountain is, because the other night the fountains were going off. So I don't know if you can get a ride on it or what the case may be. I don't know why they dropped it back there, but it's out there, But listen, guys, it's been great talking with you again. I got to get some of you guys, man. Come on, y'all. Get on here. Hit me up so we can do the pre-interview so we can get you travelers on here. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out On the Rhodes. And again, this is Donovan, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.